But guys, I wanted to cover this with you. As we saw, Tory Lanez appeals for a new trial in Meg Thee Stallion shooting case. We know Tory Lanez was found guilty due to the Meg Thee shooting case that took place in California. He has yet to be sentenced, but before they were able to sentence him, it looks like Tory Lanez and his new team filed for an appeal. Let's jump into this video before we read an article regarding the situation.
Tory Lanez has filed an appeal.
I didn't like that face. I didn't like that face, Courtney Hicks. I don't even know who Courtney Hicks is, but I didn't like that face. Hold on. What's the? I can't even say innocent until proven guilty because my man, I think, he was found guilty. Damn. All right, let's get back to this video.
Tory Lanez has filed an appeal to throw out his conviction for shooting Megan Thee Stallion, claiming that prosecutors tried to smear his name with relevant evidence.
During the trial, prosecutors submitted a shirtless photo of Lanez with a firearm tattoo on his chest, saying it was merely for identification purposes. But defense lawyers say prosecutors used the photo to show a fondness for weapons. Lanez's lawyers also says the jury heard.
Oh, so they did. So Tory's, all right, so I see what Tory's going with here, because they showed a picture. You could have showed a picture of me in the suit. You could have showed a picture of me giving a speech. You could have showed a picture of me performing, but you chose to show a picture of me posted up with no shirts and all my tattoos so they can portray like a thuggish image, as some would say, of Tory Lanez. Tattoos on his chest. I guess he has tattoos of firearms. They're like, look, this man loves guns so much, he even got one tattooed. Oh, they got something going here. They got something going.
Heard an 80-minute interview with Kelsey Harris.
That's the part that I think they screwed up in. That's the part. That playing that 80-minute interview with Kelsey, that which we did review. I think we did the entire thing on this channel. That right there, I think, was a dagger in the heart for Tory Lanez.
Remember, that was Megan's friend who was in the car that night of the shooting.
Yes, the audio was damning, but Harris later recanted a lot of what she said. Lanez is facing 22 years in prison for 3 felony firearms violations and is scheduled to be sentenced next month.
That's terrifying. 22 years, he's still not sentenced. Again, all we could do is pray for this appeal, hope that his new team has some evidence that they can see a little swifty way around it. I did see Tory Lanez posted up an article thanking his last lawyer for saying due to schedules not lining up and stuff, that's why he won't be part of this new team. I'm like, I feel like there's a little bit more on why he won't be part of this new team, allegedly. You got me a little bit more, maybe a guilty verdict.
I tried to follow, but this it was a serious matter, but this trial gave me so much of a headache. I had to pull up from it when it was happening.
I can think of a lot of things that I could tattoo on my body. I don't have any tattoos, but I can think of a lot of things to tattoo on my body that would identify me. Probably not a weapon.
Yeah.
But
the fact that they tried, so that right there just proved Tory Lanez correctly. That people thinking of him and showing his, people seeing a picture of him with no shirt on, showing firearms on his body, they were like, oh, that's weird, that's strange. Him right there, and he's also a black man. And him right there is like, I could think of a million ideas to put on my body, not a firearm. And that right there is exactly what Tory Lanez was talking about. Them showing that image and trying to put that picture and trying to portray that picture of him being a gangster, him being a thug. He's an artist, he's a father, he's a businessman. Why didn't they show a picture of him at any other situation, holding his son or somewhere else? Why was it that image that had to be shown?
I can understand why prosecutors use that in this instance, because it fits. I mean, why else would you have a weapon tattooed on your body if you didn't have an appreciation? Most people who put things on their body in ink have an appreciation for whatever they put.
Okay, you can see why the prosecutor used it as well. Yeah, to smear his image. But now you can also see why the defense feel like that's not correct, that's not fair, because we're supposed to be having a fair trial here and showing both sides. Showing an image like that can sway the jury. It looked like it swayed both of these people here already. Just with the idea of them going over it, they're showing us everything that, they're showing us how harmful this image actually was to Tory Lanez's case.
And obviously the judge found it to be admissible. They allowed it. It just happened during trial. But a lot of ins and outs, a lot of corners, you know, Lanez may have an argument with the young lady recanting a lot of what she said, maybe because her and Megan started.
They're talking about Kelsey when they're speaking here. And Kelsey said everything she said in that 80-minute interview was cap, and she just was trying to get somebody else basically in trouble for it and not herself. And she was still trying to be cool with Meg and be on her best side, allegedly.
They have a beef. I don't know. It's still cloudy. It's still very cloudy.
I would hope that would be over soon. But it looks like it's just going to keep going. And this is a soap opera that
still it keeps giving.
That's crazy. But let's actually look more information onto the actual file of the appeal for Tory Lanez. Vibe magazine wrote an article, Tory Lanez files appeal over Meg Thee Stallion's shooting conviction. The Brampton Canadian rapper was found guilty on all charges back in December of 2022. I wanted to say it was right before the holidays, right before Christmas, because I remember being sad, like, damn, Tory's in prison. Couldn't even celebrate Christmas. They locked him up, I believe, that Friday right before. Maybe it was the 23rd, I want to say he went to prison. I'm not 100% sure.
There had been rumblings of Tory Lanez looking to appeal his December 2022 guilty verdict in the Megan Thee Stallion shooting trial, but the 30-year-old made it official this week. The Brampton, Canada rapper and his legal team claim that prosecutors sought to muddy his image in an effort to sway the jury. TMZ reported, via legal documents, that the Sorry For What artist's defense attorney Jose Baez claims the opposition provided a shirtless photo of the rapper which displayed a firearm tattoo on his chest. Though the prosecutors claimed the photo's purpose was to identify Lanez, his defense believes it was intended to show his affinity for weapons. Baez had a slew of other points, such as the prosecution threatening to use the polarizing artist's rap lyrics in court, claiming it was a reversible error. He also brought up how Megan Thee Stallion's friend, Kelsey Harris, repudiated a lot of what she said in the 80-minute interview that was played during the trial. Lastly, Tory's defense attorney believes it was wrong to use statements that his client made over the phone immediately following the shooting that Meg later told the cops. Specifically, please don't say anything because I'm on probation.
That's it's funny because the two things that they're mad at, I think, are the two things that screwed Tory Lanez. The call that he gave Kelsey from prison, asking where Meg was, why is she getting anything, if anything, it'll be him and all that. If you guys do recall that call, I don't think that was a smart call to get from his side. You should have known that everything will be recorded from prison, but neither here nor there. They're saying that should have never been used. Also, the 80-minute interview, I keep telling you guys, I think that was the dagger in the heart. Even when I heard it, knowing that Kelsey said a lot of the stuff she said there was not true, knowing that going in, still, it's like you have that burning in your head. Like, is this true? And did she take it back after? Like, it even confused my mind after it all. Like, I think they need to get to the bottom of why Kelsey took back a lot of the stuff she said during that interview before they used that in the court of law and play that for the jury. The reason that they did that was because I remember Tory Lanez's lawyer, or Kelsey, I want to say one of the two, said that she felt forced into saying some of the things that she said. And they're like, oh, forced? Okay, bet. Boom. This man got us through everything. What is it, lawyers for hire? Shout out to him.
The prosecution's opening statement, you would say guilty. If you then watch the defense's opening statement, you would say, what the hell is the prosecution thinking, charging him? Basically, the prosecution started with this story. They said that, hey, they're all at the party, and Tory is leaving the party with Meg. They're in the car. An argument breaks out, during which Meg says and insults his skills as a rap artist. This leads to a situation where she gets out of the car, and he shoots at her feet and yells, damn. And then she ends up at a hospital, and a doctor takes out 3 fragments.
I think of a black and white cartoon from back in the days.
Of bullet wounds from her foot. Now, if you just, and the prosecution...
Didn't they lose the bullet fragments too from her foot? That was also a crazy piece to me.
Says that Kelsey, the other woman in the car, is going to testify that Tory shot Meg. And Kelsey has a text message where she texts somebody that, hey, Tory shot Meg. And then the rest of the prosecution's case is based on all these calls and texts where Tory's like, oh, I'm so sorry, oh, I'm so drunk. He never says that I shot him. He's like, oh,
We wanted to hear more than anyone from the driver. And I think them wanting to just end the case and wrap it up is what screwed Tory. Because they were like, all right, well, we never interviewed him ourselves. So if you're going to bring the driver, the extra person that was in the vehicle, we need like a week break to get everything together. And Tory and his team was like, nah, we're trying to bring this to an end. Never mind. No, we'll pull him out. They should have allowed him to talk.
I'm so sorry, I'm so drunk. So question what he's apologizing for. So that's the prosecution's case. It's pretty easy.
That call that he called from prison, which we're saying really screwed him, was, I was so drunk last night. That wasn't like me. And everybody's like, what wasn't like you? And he's like, where's Meg at? Is she good? She's probably never talked to me again.
The defense comes up, and man, it gets spicy. First, the defense goes, they're not telling you about half of what's going on. The most important thing they're not telling you about an eyewitness who saw 2 women fighting, Kelsey and Meg. And so let's talk about why them 2 are fighting. Let's talk about how she was in the front seat. The gun was caught in the front seat. Let's talk about how she might have gunpowder. She does have gunpowder. Let's talk about how this has nothing to do with the fight between Tory and Meg and everything to do with the fight between Meg and Kelsey. And then the defense starts dropping the bombs. He basically says this, that they're in the car. Yeah, they left. But do you know why they left? They left because Kylie and Tory were in the pool together. And Kelsey and Meg both felt some type of way about that, to the point that Meg...
Remember, that's when we see him swim with his little way up there. You hear Kylie say, are we on live?
We have to come kill the streets for 5 minutes. You said what?
We're gonna switch up the music, the PD just came right
Okay. Tori, don't get my phone wet.
Meg felt really some type of way about that, and she was really trying to go, to the point that eventually, because of how Meg is acting, this is according to the defense, Kylie Jenner goes to Meg Thee Stallion and says, it's time for you to leave. They all leave. The defense's point is what happens in the car is this.
Just a quick little wrap up. I kind of forgot it's been so long and so much has been going on.
Tory questions Kelsey, hey Kelsey, why are you backing up Meg for me trying to, get it on with Kylie Jenner? Meg has been snaking men from you your whole life. I hooked up with you, Kelsey, and then Meg went behind your back and hooked up with me. And Kelsey, this is not the first time. You had been hooking up with Ben Simmons. Meg went behind your back and hooked up with Ben Simmons. You had been hooking up with DaBaby. Meg went behind your back and hooked up with DaBaby. And so the defense starts dropping all these grenades. The crowd is captivated. The jury's like, oh, what's going on? And there's every reason to believe that there could have been a fight here.
And hooked up with DaBaby, supposedly, allegedly, the day prior to all this.
Not between Tory and Meg, but between Meg and Kelsey. And the shooting could have not been Tory. It could have been done by any one of the other people in that car. What does all of this mean? Well, I'll tell you a couple things. First, Corey Gamble, Kris Jenner's husband, is going to testify, so this will continue to be must-see TV.
He doesn't.
Again, Corey was supposed to go and testify on the side of Tory Lanez. I believe him not going either. Also, screw Tory.
I expect a very fair trial. The lawyers on the defense side are terrific. I don't know what the government lawyer was doing, giving an opening presentation that made it seem like the most open and shut case ever, when in fact there are huge questions, including an eyewitness who saw two women fighting, suggesting that you have to explain that theory to the jury, and you didn't. So I don't love the prosecution's opening in that regard. Stay tuned.
Basically, what did we get from here? All right, let's just do a quick wrap up to the article.
Tory Lanez was found guilty on all 3 charges he was facing: assault with a semi-automatic handgun, carrying a loaded, unregistered firearm in a vehicle, and discharging a firearm with gross negligence. He is facing 22 years in prison and deportation. I want to start by highlighting the bravery of Meg and Pete. You showed incredible courage and vulnerability with your testimony despite the repeated and grotesque attacks you did not deserve. You faced unjust and despicable scrutiny that no woman should ever face, District Attorney George Gascon said following the trial's completion.
So what does this all mean to us? This means the case is not done. Now the appeal is going to go on. Let's see how that plays out. Now Tory Lanez filed for an appeal. So this is the beginning to a new chapter. Let's see where this goes. Tory Lanez, again, was not sentenced yet, so he could face up to a maximum of 22 years. It doesn't mean that he's going to do 22 years. We do know that this is not his first charge, so I think even if he gets 6 months, whatever he gets sentenced, he's automatically going to get deportation. That's going to be hard for him to beat. The only way to beat that, I think, is winning the appeal, and I'm not even sure how that works. I'll be here to continue updating you throughout this process. Let's see where this goes next. I believe it was just filed, the appeal. We just heard about this on March 30th. So let's see where this goes from here. I'll continue updating you guys. If you have any more information that I might have missed, please inform me down below. And like I love to say, until the next one, we out of here.